All right, so if you have been here for a while, you know that I'm a reseller and I love Vendoo. I've literally been subscribed to Vendoo since I think the day they opened or started. If you don't know me, I am Eileen. I am a part-time reseller. I've been reselling for longer than I'd like to admit. And today I'm just going to do kind of a walkthrough of Vendoo and how it works and how I personally use it like in everyday life. So of course, online there's plenty of like demos and reviews where you just kind of like look at it, but I want to show you how I personally use it in my reselling life. So this video is sponsored by Vendoo. I talk about Vendoo all the time, whether it's sponsored or not, but this one is specifically sponsored by Vendoo because they wanted me to sit down and kind of show you how I personally use it so you can have a realistic view or realistic application on how to use Vendoo as a part-time reseller. So I am very efficiency and productivity focused, and I try to work as little as possible. I spend about 10 to 15 hours per month reselling, and Vendoo is a big part of getting me more sales and saving me lots of time and keeping me organized. So I'm going to hop onto the computer and I'm going to show you exactly how I use Vendoo. I will also just kind of show you the basics, just in case you're totally new to Vendoo. So let me hop on the computer and I will show you how I use Vendoo. All right, so when you sign into Vendoo, this is what it looks like. This is just showing you the kind of like main dashboard of your inventory. It shows you can go to your drafts, items that have not been posted anywhere yet. You can go to active items, which are obviously items that are posted, and then you can see all of your sold items as well. These are all the marketplaces that you can list and cross-post on with Vendoo. So there's Depop, eBay, Etsy, Facebook, Grailed, I think Kidzin, Mercari, Poshmark, Shopify, Tradesy, and Vestair, I think. I personally only post to eBay and Poshmark right now. I may add in Mercari again. I've sold on Mercari in the past. I'm just not right now. You can see I only have about 50 active items. Like I said, I'm very part-time at this point, but I have sold over 815 items since I've been using Vendoo. So let's look down here. So we are filtered by active. You can see all of the items that are active. You can see the titles. You can see when I listed it, how many there are, what the listed price is. These are all little labels right here that help you organize. You can see this is a multiple quantity because there's 2 of them. I have a bunch of different labels, and this one is via palette because I got it as part of a palette, so that's really helpful. So for example, if I want to see all the items that are marked with via palette, so I can see all the items from that palette, I can put the label in right here, and then I can scroll through and see all the active items. So that's just kind of like an overview of the inventory page. Let's click into an item here on the Vendoo form. So this is the Vendoo form. This is like the main page for your items. And then you have all of these here, which are the listings for your items on the individual marketplaces. So this is the Vendoo form. You drop in your pictures, you drop in your title, your description, and you just fill out all this information as you would normally in eBay or Poshmark or Mercari or wherever you list. And then you can go ahead and save it. And then it will auto-populate most of the fields in the eBay form, in the Poshmark form, etc. You just have to usually do a couple of things here and there. So let me list an item real quick. I'm going to take away this label so I can see all my items, and then I'm going to go to drafts. I think I drafted an item, or have. Okay, so here's an example of an Athleta pair of leggings. The pictures are not great, but here's another great thing about Vendoo. I couldn't get like a good square picture because they're really long. But you can actually remove backgrounds directly in Vendoo. So you don't need a separate app for that anymore. Just click remove background, and then you can click the ones that you want to remove the background from and click remove background. It takes a couple seconds, and oh my God, look how quick that was. I don't remove backgrounds from every single one because I don't know. You could. So I have all my pictures here, and then I have a title already. So it's size medium, pre-owned, and then we are just gonna go through and fill in all the fields. I only have one of them. It's under leggings. And then the listing price, I'm going to probably list these at $34.99. And then my cost of goods on these, I think, was $5.99. And then you always use a Vendoo label telling me what quarter I posted the item in, so I know how long something's been sitting for a while. So I can go through back in the inventory page and search by this. And if there's stuff from like first quarter of 2023 or even like fourth quarter of 2022, I know those items can probably be clearanced out and moved along, or the pricing's bad or the pictures are bad. I can go ahead and look at those items and see that those items are old and something's wrong. There's a reason it's not selling. You can add notes here if you need to, and then you can go ahead and save. And then now you have a completed listing in Vendoo. right here, I forgot to say, I take a picture of my label. So here's my SKU, it's just a number 1. We just started over with number 1. And I just put that there, and then that will update in the SKU area in eBay and in Poshmark. So now we're gonna go over to eBay, and we're gonna edit it and list it to eBay. So you have all the same information, the same title, same description. You just kind of have to scroll through and see what might be missing. So what's missing? Department, women's, size, medium, size type, regular, style. I believe these are like a 7/8, so they're like an ankle. Type, leggings, they are pre-owned. Shipping policy, you're just gonna select your shipping policy. Everything else is the same. The weight and the location are all there. And then you have your buy it now price, and then you can decide if you wanna allow best offer. I usually do that, and then I will accept offers of at least $29. And then I'm gonna click list on eBay. And then while that's listing on eBay, it says, please continue listing as we post this item for you. So you can go over to Poshmark while it's going, and it's already listed. It's showing us listed here. And now we're in the Poshmark form to cross-post it to Poshmark, and everything is filled out up to here. And then now we just need to do medium. I usually just put 0 as original price. I don't think it matters. The cost is here, the SKU is there. Now we're gonna list on Poshmark, and it should list in a couple seconds. And how long did it take to list that item? Like 2 minutes. And you're not having to go to each individual, like you don't have to go to eBay and then Poshmark and upload everything and copy and paste it all over. It literally just does it for you, and you just have to fill in a couple things here and there. So now we can view the listing on Poshmark just to make sure everything looks good. I always do that. There's the listing, descriptions there, everything looks good. Now you can look at it on eBay. We're gonna click onto eBay and scroll down and click view listing so we can view it on eBay as well. Everything looks good there. The title's there, the price, the shipping, the description down here, everything looks good, and that item is now gonna show as listed. So now it's under active. I have 51 active items now because I listed that item. I have it marked as Q4 so that if it's not sold in like a year, I can go here and, like for example here, from Q1 of this year is 3 items that are left. These items are just not selling. They might need to be, we might need new pictures, different keywords, whatever, but I just can see clearly that these items are still listed almost a year later. So that's a good way to use the Vendoo labels. There are many, many ways to use them. So if you're brand new to Vendoo and you don't have any items in inventory, you don't have to go through and like list them manually in Vendoo. You can actually import them. So click this import button right here, and then you can click a source to import them. So wherever you're listing from, so let's say you're listing from eBay, it's already trying to gather your latest eBay items. I don't have any items in eBay that aren't on Vendoo. But what it's gonna do is it's going to import the items from eBay, and then you can click which ones you want to import into Vendoo, and it will create a listing in Vendoo for you, and then you can cross-post it over to Poshmark or Mercari or wherever you want to post it. This does take a second because it's importing from eBay. All right, so obviously didn't get anything because I have everything listed in eBay. So this is from before, but what you would do is you would just select all items or select them individually, and then you can click import items, and it will add them all into Vendoo as individual listings, and then you can cross-post them. So that's a really easy way to get your items over. I know that if you have like 100 items or even more than that, it might seem daunting to start with Vendoo because you don't want to have to relist them basically in Vendoo individually. So you can just import them, and that makes it really easy. So then they will show up in your inventory, and they will show up as listed in Vendoo, and then you can just cross-post them the way I showed you, where you just go to any of these marketplaces, fill out the form, and list it. So the next thing I wanted to show you something. So I list in here every day, obviously. I also delist and relist. So if you've been reselling for a while, you know that sometimes you just need a fresh new listing. So whether it's eBay or Poshmark, completely deleting that or like delisting that item and then making a whole new listing can really boost your item. So I know in eBay it can boost the item, and then in Poshmark it'll add it to the just listed dropdown or filter instead of just being under just shared when you're sharing. So what I like to do is I go right here and I click stay list. So that is going to pull up the items, it's going to explain it right here, that have not been listed or relisted in a while. So this has been listed for 29 days. This has been listed for 29 days on both eBay and Poshmark. So what you can do is under multi actions, you're going to click multi, delist, and relist. and you're going to select the items that you want to delist and relist. I'm just going to click 2 because I don't want to take too long. And it will just do it in the background. So you're going to click delist and relist. You're going to decide where you want it to remove and then relist them on. And then it's just going to work in the background. I literally will do this in the morning and then go check my email and then come back and it's done. And you can do 10 at a time and it's really easy. So I try to do it at least once a month. So these are coming up on a month. So it's time to delist and relist these guys. So if you click right here, you can see it working. So it's already done eBay. Now it's going to work on Poshmark. And now it's working on the next one. All right, so now it's done delisting and relisting. So those items are now not in this stale category because they've been relisted. So I think if we go by date modified, nope, how would we do it? Recently listed, there we go. Is that it? Yeah, there we go. You will see that this was recently delisted and relisted, and now it's kind of like a brand new listing, and hopefully they will sell. So that's something I try to do every day, just check for items that need to be relisted. So the next thing I want to show you is the analytics. This is like one of my favorite things. So you can see all of your sales for as long as you've been on Vendoo. So we're looking at just 2023 here. You can see your revenue, so your sales, and then you can also see your profits. Vendoo makes it really easy to just kind of see at a glance how your business is doing. I've sold 244 items this year compared to this time last year. I've sold about 13% more. I've listed less items than I did last year, and my average sale price is up. And then you can just see month by month, or you can even do it if you just want to do like month to date. It's November 7th, so it's just going to show the last week. We haven't sold anything in a couple days. Actually, you know what we have? That's something I need to show you. Hold on one second. I'll do that in a second. So we've done about $300 in revenue, $261 in profit, sold about 8 items. Listed 4 items, and our average sale price was $41. And then you can see your revenue by marketplace too. So this lighter pink one is in person because we do a lot of local sales. And then you can also see eBay and Poshmark. This is because we sold 1 item for like $200. So that's kind of skewing it. Let's do year to date again so that you can see a better representation of our sales. Okay. So in the last year, Poshmark has been almost half of our sales. eBay's been about 40%, and then in-person is about 10%. And then if you look at profit, you will see that in-person is actually a bigger chunk than it is over here because there are no fees when you sell in person. Our top selling category is clothing. You can see your top selling subcategory. You can see your average sale price by marketplace. This is all just like really helpful information. We've sold over 100 items or 105 items on eBay and 123 on Poshmark. So if I didn't have Vendoo, I would only be selling on eBay and I would be missing out on all these Poshmark sales because I'm not going to manually cross-post items. So this is why it's so great to see these numbers, because it really is like, oh, this is why I'm paying for Vendoo, because it's making me like, look, $1,000 in profit on Poshmark that I wouldn't have made if I was only selling on eBay. And then you can also see in person. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is this new feature. One question I get is like, what happens when you're cross-posted and an item sells and then it sells to somebody else before you can take it down? Vendoo is saving me with this because now you can go over to sold and it will auto detect sales for you. So these are 2 sales that it automatically detected, and it removed it from the other platforms automatically. So I don't have to manually go and do that, because when I had to do it manually, I would sometimes forget for a couple of hours or even like a full day. And then sometimes it would sell and I'd have to cancel an order. So now it automatically detects the sale, removes it from any other platform that it's on, and then you just have to go in and add the sale details. So let me show you how to do that, because that's fun too. All right, so this sold today. And it sold on Poshmark. So we're going to go over to my Poshmark and we're going to look at my sales, and then we're going to see this sold one, and let's see. So it sold for $15. There was a $3 fee. I did not have any shipping discounts. So we're going to say this sold for $15. The cost of goods on this actually recalculated the cost of goods. This is from a pallet and I was rounding up and I decided not to do that. So it's actually $8.20, not $8.50. That 30 cents counts. It's going to automatically do the Poshmark fees, which is $3, and then I did not pay any extra shipping expenses, and we sold 1. That the quantity is 2, so there will be 1 left and it won't take it down. We're going to click that so that updates the new quantity, and we're going to save the sale details, and now it's marked as sold in Vendoo as well. We can go find that item. Where is it? So now you can see it's sold, and we can click on it, and when you click on a sold item at the top, it will give you all the information. It's sold on November 7th on Poshmark. One sold for $15. We paid $3 on fees. $8.20 is the cost of goods, 0 shipping expenses, and our profit here is $3.80. So that auto detect or auto sales detect feature is like amazing. So a couple more small things I wanted to show you. Over in settings, you can decide where the stale listing warning, you know how I sorted it by stale listings and it showed me the stalest, which is like the item that's been listed the longest. It actually shows this little clock icon on items that are considered stale, and you can decide how long an item is listed before that icon pops up. I have it at 15 days because I like to relist often. I think it really helps my sales, so I relist once a month, or I usually relist an item after about a month, but if I can do it sooner and I catch it sooner, then great. And then you can see all your different labels. I have not color coded them the way I want to because I just have not had a chance, but I have a label for local sales, for fourth quarter, for a certain palette I had, for multiple quantity. This is just a great way to be able to easily organize and sort your inventory. You can also create templates. So when I was selling lots of these 0 shoes, I did have a template. I will show you the template. I'm going to use template, and it would automatically put 0 barefoot minimalist shoes and brand new without box because they were all brand new without box. It just left the size blank. I could just put size 10, and then there were all these notes, and then a lot of this was already filled out for me, so those templates are really helpful too. I only use it when I'm doing a lot of something where it's very similar. Another really cool thing is that you can export your inventory to CSV. I actually had to use that today because I was doing another video about that via trading palette that I did, and I was able to create this quick spreadsheet showing me how much I made, and I didn't want to include cost of goods, and I wanted to see what has sold and what hadn't. So you can export your inventory that way. That way you can have, if you need to put in a spreadsheet or anything like that, it makes it a lot easier. All right, let's talk about the plans real quick because there is a little bit of confusion on this, I've noticed. So when it says that my plan is 125 items, that doesn't mean I have 125 items total. That means new Vendoo listings. So when you first sign up for Vendoo, you will need an account for the amount of items you want to import unless you want to do it slowly over time. So for example, if you have 200 items listed on eBay and you want to start using Vendoo, you would need a higher account in order to import them all over, but then you could downgrade because it's only new listings. So as you can see, I've only used 15 of my 125 because I've only created 15 new listings in Vendoo. So if you have like 1,000 listings active, that doesn't mean that you need like this $100 plan. That just means that you need to go based on how many items you're actually listing per month. So that is something to note, and that is really cool because it's only new listings. So I'm usually only listing like maybe 50 or maybe 100 items in a month. That's a stretch though. So this plan works really well for me. Even if I have 300 items listed, as long as I'm only listing 125 or less per month, I don't need to upgrade my plan at all. And honestly, like look at these prices. The starter plan is $9 for 25 items, and this plan is $20 a month for 125 items. I showed you how much I was making on Poshmark because I'm able to cross list by using Vendoo. I more than cover a $20 plan just by being able to cross post because I'm not going to do it. I know me, I don't have the time. I'm not going to do it if I don't have something to do it for me. So Vendoo in general, I can't guarantee it, but in general, more than pays for itself. All right, so hopefully that was super helpful in seeing how I use Vendoo on like a day-to-day basis as a part-time reseller. It is literally so useful. I am trying to make as much money as I can reselling in as little time as possible. And as you can see, I double my sales by having items cross-posted, and it helps me keep everything organized. I can look at all my numbers. I literally, whether Vendoo sponsors a video or a post or anything or not, I am going to continue to talk about Vendoo because it really does make a big difference in my business, and I would not be able to be making the sales that I make without it. One other thing I wanted to mention that I did not mention while I was on the computer there is that if you are looking at the Vendoo screen and you are logged in, on the bottom right, there's a little tiny like chat bubble icon. If you ever have any questions, you can literally just ask a question there, and they are almost always going to respond within like a couple of hours, and they are always super helpful. Like I have never been a part of a software that has been so responsive and helpful. And then if there is an issue and it's something they have to fix, they always update you later. So I'll get an email like a couple days later and say, hey, we fixed this. Can you just make sure it's working for you now and let us know if it's not? And they check in and they make sure that they fix things when there are issues. So they are very responsive. Their customer service is amazing. And that's a big thing too for me. If you want to try Vendoo, I do have a link down in the description below, and there is a free trial for I think up to 5 items if you want to just kind of play around with it and give it a try. Like I said, it is like a game changer for me. It is my #1 must-have tool as a reseller. If I had to give up all my other reselling tools, this is the one thing I would keep because it really keeps me organized. And again, when I cross post, I make more money. And that makes the subscription more than worth it for me. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I've been using Vendoo for years, so I will try to answer any questions that you might have. And thank you so much for watching. And thank you to Vendoo for sponsoring this video. I will see you next time. Bye.